side, isn't it? Here's Trusty-Kong. Moses. Stepping away from Ntonga. Shehu. It's behind Igalo. Lungu brings it away for Zambia.
There's an expectancy here today, Wayne. There was a real buzz and electricity about the game against Cameroon recently.
Simon wins the corner. Of course, the only downside of beating Cameroon 4-0 is that it just heightens the expectations furthermore, doesn't it?
And easy for a group of supporters to now believe that the job was done after securing the 1-1 draw in Yaoundé a couple of days later. It was a much more physical game. Didn't see all of the match, saw extended highlights, and Cameroon just, I think, just decided that make it a more physical match and try and knock Nigeria out of their stride. Didn't manage it.
Corner straight into the hands of Mwini. These two did meet around about a year ago, just 2 days short of a year ago. Nigeria beat Zambia by 2-1. Iwobi and Iheanacho scoring 2 first-half goals before Basuma pulled one back for Zambia. But we're looking at the wins over Algeria and Cameroon. That one in Zambia may yet prove to be the key one. Zambia responded well to that loss with a draw in Cameroon and then a victory over Algeria at home and 1-0 away. Unexpected double against the North Africans. Ashijile's throw. Sawimba. Igalo to chase. Winning out of his goal. Took a bit of a swipe at it, but it was picked up by Ntonga. Kapumba. They were beaten in June, Zambia, 1-0 at home by Mozambique in their opening 2019 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier, but face Namibia and Guinea-Bissau also in their group. They would be expected to qualify. Top 2 in each group qualify for Cameroon. The expanded tournament to 24 teams. Simon. Now Nazi.
Talking about Igalo up front on his own. They try and find John Obi Mikel as much as they can, who very often plays a lot further forward than he does in club football. He becomes the important link man in and around the middle of his own half and further forward around the centre circle.
With the header, Tonga helps it on. Reminder that Cameroon and Algeria are also playing in this group. Both teams already out of contention, but we will keep you up to date as the goals go in. Already today, South Africa have beaten Burkina Faso by 3-1 in Group D. Cameroon really is threatening to go to the wire with all 4 teams in contention.
Yeah, Senegal need a victory later on. They've got a rearranged game, of course, to play against South Africa as well, the controversial one back in the end of last year.
Yeah, all eyes on the refereeing appointment. There's Mikel into Igalo. Lungu across. Igalo happy to shield it out for a throw. Targeting that 4-0 win, of course, against Cameroon. Igalo. Sun Tzu. Away by Lungu. This is Onazi. Header away by Tembo. There's Mikel. There's a Simon. through. The referee's whistle. It's a free kick for Zambia, for Mulenga.
I think they'll be happy with a scrappy game for Zambia for as long as is necessary, really, to frustrate Nigeria, try and get them off their stride. Look at the pitch at the moment. See if it's going to sort of help in that fashion. It's been cutting off already when he played. It's under 11 minutes. And a few players have slipped already. A bit of rain over the last couple of days.
Yeah, it looks as though there's one or two chunks missing on the surface. Sunzu. He plays his club football in Russia. Tembo. A lot of this present Zambian squad are based in Zambia. With the throw towards Lungu, but it's behind for a goal kick. Not the goalkeeper tested as yet. Hoping to get the job done, Nigeria, but no need at the moment to come out all guns blazing.
Sometimes it can be difficult for coaches to get the right message across to their players, to distinguish between as to exactly how you want to play the game. You know that a draw will pretty much be good enough to secure qualification. So don't have too much of a negative mindset, so the players feel as if they have to play cautiously. The team is not built that way, the players that they have in the squad. Offensive players, as is the norm really with Nigerian squads.
Mikau. Through there for Moses. Looked as though he was just about to get into his stride, but a challenge from Tembo. So Wimba. Lungu. It's turned by Ngonga. Morgan trying to get back to him. It was a decent cross in from Ngonga.
That was a super ball. Not once but twice in the build-up, actually. He showed great strength and ability to hold off the defender. A great cross.
Here's Moses.
That was unlucky. Gala went to make the run, then he just checked and just fired that ball in. It's not quite in the right spot.
There's a big roar every time Victor Moses picks up possession, the Chelsea man.
It's a go-to play for things to happen for the Super Eagles at the moment.
Algeria and Cameroon for Victor Moses in this qualifying campaign. He's a Premier League winner with Chelsea last season. Tonga. Surprising how long it's taken Victor Moses to finally fulfill his potential in many ways.
There's been an expectation upon him to do well. He wasn't sure whether he was actually going to play for Nigeria to begin with, and it was delayed and always.
Zambia getting in behind again here. No space in the centre, but went for goal instead, and I think it was the wrong decision. Disappointing from Sakala.
But he just couldn't wrap his foot around the ball. Junior Sakala. I don't think he was actually going for goal. If he was, he's a silly boy running from that angle to. I think he's going to beat Nzemwe at his near post, and it will have to be the goalkeeping error. Great turn of pace, however. Can't go back alongside him. He's the closest, but not really that close. Well, two sides actually that in their forward line they've got a couple of players who are quick enough, skillful enough. He seems brave enough to handle the occasion.
Quarter of an hour mark then. No goals as of yet.
Yeah, I think once Victor Moses actually firmly decided in his own mind, sometimes you can make a decision, but you're not fully convinced you've made the right one. I think that shows in your performances. The crowd, I think, pick up on that as well. They really believe that he's one of us, if you like. He's fully committed with you rather than be playing for someone else. So in the last 2 years, I would say, 2 calendar years for the national team in particular, he's begun to show his true ability.
Nazi with the initial challenge to Wimber. Nazi getting back and picking up the ball again, clearing his lines. Garlo beaten to that by Tonga. During throw. With it, they flick on from Moses. It's interesting. What is he saying that Moses was backing in there? Strange decision.
Yeah, penalised for.
It's Kafumba. Tembo. Kong across. Touch off by John Obi Mikel. Now the break is on here for Nigeria. Igalo! Just couldn't get his foot on it. Well, they thought that was the moment.
What a ball. It's a super cross. Igalo really doesn't make his mind of whether he wants to go near or actually stay far. In the end, he doesn't do either. Instead of maybe just drifting a little bit further away from the defender, as he's always been attracted towards the near post to Zambia. And he's only inches away, though, from making connection with that super delivery.
4 in 14 appearances for Nigeria. Adian Igalo. Wasn't bad at Watford at all. 33 goals in 82 appearances for Watford. So Wimber's throw. His partnership with Troy Deeney was electric at times, wasn't it?
Yes, it was a selfless partnership. Both worked pretty well for each other. Deeney's now some ability to bring people into play, and Igalo was the quick, early, seemingly more natural goal scorer. Once again, he's another one who just sort of really found himself in the last year or so of the national side. He's had a few ups and downs, colours of green.
Has to be a long throw with this run-up. Away though by Moses. Now Tembo. Victor Moses taking on Tembo. The defender got back well to him, though. He's really up for this today, Victor Moses.
Yeah, he had to make that slide tackle count, make sure he got the ball. Victor Moses, great turn of pace to go on the outside, and Tembo's fully committed as soon as he's beaten. Good touch in the end, because it was a great little attempted clip over him by Moses.
By Moses, poor one. It gets another opportunity. Ndidi with this one. Distance on it as well. Tembo with the header away. Gonga losing his footing, and Nazi for Nigeria. Shehu. Igalo. He's in the penalty area, had the ball being delivered early. Zambia bring it away. Fouled by Moses Simon. Seen enough of Sakala yet from a Zambian point of view. He can be a real threat. Playing around on the left, the 20-year-old from Spartak Moscow. Here's Mulenga.
They've got a good guy who plays pretty well as a target up front, Alessan Gonga. Good exhibition of hold-up play, African style if you like. Today, guys who are pretty mobile but can take the physical battering as well. That will good centre-halves will dish out to them. If they get any kind of control in the middle of the park, we talked about Sakala as well, and Mulenga. And then, as I said, you know, they've got players who seem as if they're capable of causing Nigeria some problems this afternoon.
Chagile's throw. Quick reminder for you of what's coming up across our BT Sport channels. BT Sport Score next Saturday at 2:30. That's on One for you. And then we have live Premier League action at 5 p.m. on One, also available in 4K UHD between Watford and Arsenal. And then Premier League tonight is live at 8 p.m. next Saturday, also available in 4K UHD. Largely untroubled so far. Nigeria's best opening, that chance for Igalo, and he just couldn't stretch. It's Mawini. Now Tembo. Nazi takes it away. Igalo has made the run for him. Nazi didn't give him much of a chance though with the delivery.
There's no curl on that cross at all. Looks like he's pulled up.
And the flag is up. And the whistle's long gone. One or two of the Zambian fans were cheering hopefully, but the whistle had long gone before it was tucked away by Mulenga. He claims he couldn't hear it in the rather sizable racket inside this stadium.
Let's hope we get a replay pretty quickly. He's coming from that near side where the official is, the referee's assistant. You can imagine that he shouldn't get that wrong if Langer is making out. Actually, sometimes you can't be too close to them.
It's difficult, isn't it?
Yeah, it's just about, isn't it? Maybe Balogun is the one who's closest to playing him onside, but he did look offside from that shot.
Reasonably happy so far, Zambia, with the opening 24 minutes or so.
There's Nigeria nowhere near being in their stride. Ghazi went to play that cross. I don't know if he actually lunged to get the ball and overstretched himself. He obviously the last of it. And as soon as he played the cross in, he pulled up immediately. There was a bit of agony, it seemed like, etched on his face. Another good cross. I don't know what they actually pulled up as he intercepted the ball, but certainly seemed innocuous, didn't it? The way he actually was able to win the ball and no challenge on the cross. He didn't seem to stumble or slip as he tried to slide that ball in.
goal between Cameroon and Algeria. And G has scored for Cameroon. 25 minutes in, they lead Algeria by a goal to nil. Remember, neither of those sides can qualify anymore. Cameroon, though, looking for their first win in this group. 3 draws and then that 4-0 defeat to Nigeria. So the African champions looking at least to end World Cup qualifying on something of a high. A lack of competitive football for them, the Indomitable Lions, until they host the Africa Cup of Nations in the summer now of 2019. Big changes in the Cup of Nations, increased from 16 to 24 teams, played now in the summer instead of the traditional winter slot in January, February. Zambia looking to get in behind, but as well cut out by Troost-Ekong. Mikel.
That was a good pass from Alex Ngonga. Smartly intercepted by the Nigerian defence. He's back on. Let's see how brief his turn may be.
It's hobbling, isn't it?
Yeah.
There's Moses. Shajile.
That's going to work.
Clubs now, Victor Moses, isn't he? Wigan, Crystal Palace, loans at Liverpool, Stoke, West Ham. Of course, played for England from under 16 to under 21 level. Sun Tzu.
He's a veteran of the Zambian backline, good experience in Liga in France.
Just ball over the top, but gathered by Nzemwa. Cross. Comfortable at the back so far, Zambia. Tonga. Too much of it to Ndidi. It's taken away by Anazi. Ndidi again.
Boy, scrappy at the moment. The pitch lends itself to that kind of game, and Nigeria not quite the same ferocity with which they attack the Cameroon game. It's a little bit more difficult when you are much more favoured than they were in that match. They just find it a little bit more difficult to get themselves going, and quite a few players actually afraid to receive the ball. The two centre-halves in particular kicked so many more forward balls than I've seen in the last 5 or 6 internationals. Composure that you usually associate with Nigeria. Lots of delivery to both sets of forwards, actually attacking players around the neck, up on the chest. Not easy to get control of the ball that way sometimes. Finally gives way. Nazi.
Change for Nigeria sees Mikel Agu come on. Fourth cap for the Porto midfielder. His international debut only as recently as June in a friendly against Togo. Kapumba. Gile. To the Zemwa. Agu, the substitute. Moses loses out though to Ngonga. Touch off by Mikel. Simon goes for goal, and it's covered by Mawini. Causing plenty of problems down that far side, Moses Simon.
If there's been anything good from Nigeria's.
On a chance here for the Zambians at the other end. Alex Ngonga suddenly out-muscling Balogun, and just couldn't keep the flick on target.
What a chance. It's a pretty simple ball up. Mulenga gets a touch onto it. There's Alex Ngonga muscling Balogun out the way. I said he was strong and he's quick enough. Just caught the defender, just napping a little bit. I think he's expecting the goalkeeper as well, Zenwa, to come and collect that, and a little bit with him. That was pretty much close to the 6-yard box by the time he's taken a shot at goal. Great opportunity, just too much juice.
Apologies, by the way, for the break-up in pictures at times.
Well, it should be 1-0, no doubt about it. Moses Simon has a decent shot. It's probably maybe just going slightly wide at the post, but when he takes no chances and straight back down the other end, and they get themselves off the score sheet.
Throw from Ndidi, gathered by Mawini. Sakala. Foul on Shehu. John Obi Mikel. Good turn away from Tonga. He's still going. Great run by Mikel. He went down under the challenge. I think he was looking for the foul a bit there. Great run though. Gile. Igalo. Simon. The delivery in, looking for Igalo again, but it was well covered by Tembo. It's better though from Nigeria.
Yeah, well defended. Just up the tempo in the last minute or so. Really stung into action by that missed opportunity from Alex Ngonga. A bit of fortune the way the ball gets to Igalo. He's small, he just turns the ball wide, gets in the box. Nigeria, we've got 2 players in there. It's a great ball actually. Let's see if Mikel is actually taken out. It looks to me that he was taken out. Nip at the ankles.
Swinger this time. Sunzu with the header. It's a free kick for Zambia. Theo Tembo just holding his head. Certainly high. In fact, it's Malenga, isn't it, who's been caught.
Let's take him a few minutes to get to the pace of the game. Mikel Agu. He's warming the cheeks up, isn't he, with a chewing gum?
Worry about choking on that.
Well, never did Michael Jordan any harm, did it?
No, that's true. Sunzu. I think generally it doesn't do you any harm, but there's always that chance, isn't there?
Expected thump into the back of the head or the neck.
It's another Zambian free kick. And Wefu is down at the moment, and it's a yellow card for Mikel Agu. Second offence in quick succession, and it's tested the patience of Joshua Bondo a tad too far.
Yeah, that's careless to have your arm that high. Even if you don't swing it, there's a chance you'll be penalised. Necessary, really. It's desperate to impress, I'm sure, but just 1 or 2 calming words, I think, required from some of the senior players around him, John Mikel in particular. This match is not there to be lost by a reckless play, or shouldn't be. I'm sure we keep 10 men on the field.
Gonga going for a speculative swing at the ball.
We'll get another opportunity, Alex and Gonga, but I don't think it will be much more straightforward than that. Wasn't rooted to the spot. He came out in the end. That's what Leon Balaguer was actually protesting about. They felt his goalkeeper should have been in a position to claim that. I think the defender as well has got to clear his lines if he doesn't hear a shout from the man behind him.
Zambia on the front foot again here with Ngonga, who fancies this. And I think that just caught the edge of the post after the intervention of Azenwa. It's a really good strike. Ngonga unlucky.
That's a good shot, well hit, kept it low. Just bounced as well before the goalkeeper, who must have got a touch onto it as well. Just find himself in a couple of yards of space. That's a super hit. A convincing dive actually from Nzemwa. Mikel Agu is a little bit reluctant now to be full-blooded in a challenge. He was beaten quite easily.
The keeper in the width of a post, denying Zambia a surprising lead. It's the corner though. Got something on that, but Zambia can keep up the pressure. In behind again. Once or twice, you know, they've threatened to get in behind the Nigerian back four.
Gonga's a handful. See that quite clearly from the opening couple of minutes. Limited service. It's proving a handful for the two centre-halves. There was a time for both full-backs to be just that little bit more aware. They'd love to get forward, especially Eshajile. He loves playing in a wing-back position. Controlling on that halfway line. Defensive responsibilities are of utmost right now. And I know time really should Nigeria be exposed, even 2-on-1 against Ngonga. It's too dangerous right now. At least three defenders at all times covering him. One should be really close to him, and every time the ball comes up, the other can be sweeping up behind. And the extra insurance with the third man.
Towards Ndidi. Now Eshajile. Someone outside him, but it's towards Igalo.
It'll be easy to pass the buck so often, Wayne, when you're only facing one forward, two or three defenders. Nobody expects that the teammate will deal with it.
Tembo's header away. It's fallen kindly though for the shot. And over the top from John Obi Mikel.
Yes, that nicely.
That was a chance, doesn't it?
Yeah, he did well actually to use his body and just shift the ball the other side on his weaker foot, the left. Yeah, that's a nice touch. Disappointing execution.
Winnie. Tonga. Sakala just about kept it in play, but handed the ball to Moses. The Zambian defence again, Victor Moses. Shehu. Agu. Almost trod on the ball, just about kept possession, and then Lungu was caught as he flicked that away. Having it all their own way in the midfield. Ndidi and now Agu and Nazi before him. Certainly proving more stubborn opposition than both Algeria and Cameroon were. Stick on with the header away. That was out of play, according to the assistant.
That's his call to make on the far side.
Lumumba. Threw away by Agu. Another Zambian throw. Throw into Mwepu. It's looking like a case of that final step across the line again, isn't it, for Nigeria? So often the case when teams are going for trophies and qualifications after what's been a really good campaign.
Yes, the point at which there's most anxiousness, isn't there? That feeling of the sense of the job is done is sometimes be detrimental to your performance. And of course, playing in another team, the only team that can actually usurp them at the top of the table.
It's out of play. Yeah, 3-point lead with 6 points remaining seems comfortable, but it's amazing how suddenly things can turn around in the final two matches. We've seen it in qualification groups all over the world and title races going down to the final two games.
Final 2 minutes sometimes.
Still plenty of work for Super Eagles to do in this group. To qualify for the World Cup for the 6th time. They've progressed beyond the group stages to the last 16. Nigeria, 94 and 98, and then again in 2014. By Mikel. Stronger in the challenge than Sun Tzu. Determined play again though by Zambia. They have chased everything in this first half. And Didi. Now Moses. Igalo made the run for him. Moses has found Igalo. Had to get the shot away quickly, and it was off target. But when they inject a bit of pace into their attack, Nigeria, you can see that Zambia are struggling.
Yeah, Moses picks out a great ball for Igalo. Takes it nicely on his chest and opens his body out. Just wouldn't sit down for him. Just waiting for that ball just to have a softer bounce. It's quite high, too much height on it. 2 centre-halves caught napping.
It's only 3 or 4 times as well in the first half, hasn't it, with Ngonga?
Cover in the end from Abdoulaye Shehu. Stefan was beaten.
There's Igalo. Still going Igalo. Now he gets the cross in. Oh, and it's over the top spectacularly from Moses Simon. Oh, he thought that was the moment, and so did most of this stadium.
It looks like he's saying he didn't get a call from John Obi Mikel. That was probably his, just to cushion onto his knee on his chest. It would have been a much easier volley. Igalo gets a little bit of luck because he needs to kick this ball. When we don't get the shot there, then defender goes to ground. It's a lovely clip towards the far post. Yeah, that looks spectacular, doesn't it? Any time anybody tries that overhead. Yeah. With the benefit of that there, Igalo fooled the defender. Lovely clip to the far post.
Yeah, it really was an inch-perfect delivery. Simon, who scored in games against Swaziland and Cameroon in this qualifying tournament. Swaziland, the two-legged match before the group stages. Nigeria coming through that one 2-0 on aggregate. They drew 0-0 in Swaziland before the 2-0 win at home. At the end of the first half. Ndidi. Too much on that for Moses. Sakala. Wepu. Solid header from Eshajile. Sakala. It looked as though there was a space to run into, and then suddenly it was closed by Balogun. He wins it back, but illegally so.
It's not a pitch to take too many touches, especially in the middle of the park. Easily dispossessed. Slightly unluckily, take a little bit of a bobble. It's away from you, ball sticks under your feet. It's cutting up more and more the longer this game is going on. You know, better end to the half. The last 15 minutes have shown signs of promise actually from both sides. The best chance, of course, has fallen to Alex Ngonga for Zambia. Should have taken out. Nigeria should be behind. Not created one clean chance himself. A couple of decent crosses into the box, but Super Eagles not quite flying yet.
Stick on. Well, it's half time. A point wouldn't be mathematically enough for Nigeria, but it would put them on the verge of qualification. Zambia have been steady defensively. Nigeria without any real clear sights of goals, although there's been chances for Igalo Simon and John Obi Mikel. Malenga will be ruining his goal that was ruled out for offside for Zambia. And Alex Ngonga as well struck the outside of a post after forcing a save from Zenwa in the Nigerian goal. Now the atmosphere continues unabated inside the stadium, even if it's not the result so far that the Super Eagles supporters were hoping for. Half-time score then, it's Nigeria 0, Zambia 0.
Yet another hat-trick, that's his business. De Bruyne! Beautiful strike.
I flash me love and loyalty. I die for myself and faithfully. I promise for defend them and honor your good name, because no place, no day like home. Sierra Leone, the land where I'm born, the land where I grow, the land where I'm not gonna ever forget, yeah. The land where I let me on salon, make we try for, make them, let me not try for. Well, cause the land where we born, the land where we forget, the land where we not forever forget, yeah. My aim is not a wealth, no fame. I wish to serve my country with best of my talents, and I pray that everybody will think and walk towards making a better place. May we promise peace and love, justice and unity, agriculture, education. Make we stop all deforestation, pollution, discrimination, tribalism, regionalism, sectionalism, political provocation, and all them bad things where they press alone. Make we listen to authorities, make we maintain law and order, and make we come together and try to make a better Sierra Leone. Sierra Leone, now the land where I'm born, the land where I'm grown, the land where I'm not gonna ever forget, yeah. The land where I let me on salon, make we try for, make them, let me not try for. Well, cause the land where we born, the land where we forget, the land where we not forever forget, yeah. Swelling my pride and my way, I'm mountain, I have no crime and I hide no right. where you not forget. Now the land that's where you from me. Oh, Lord, we got a beautiful land full of so many beautiful things. Where we for thank God for beautiful beaches, pretty natural harbor, land where they attract so many tourists. Salona, a blessed country. It left to how we utilize all this treasure, yeah. That's go promote sweet or demote sweet. We all the Sierra Leoneans. If we don't make them, who that's go can make them for me? Then we left for the deep end and try for create we own the best. For we self, for we picking them, and for the next generation. If we utilize the resources there well, we don't need for the back for going to other man country. Because we already get the paradise right here with us. Sierra Leoneans.
Actually, Ogeni Onazi at full stretch, he probably overstretches. I think that's what caused the injury. Igala didn't quite pull over to the far post enough. Still would have been a difficult ball to take, so much pace on the cross.
Yeah, Moses Simon has had a lively game as well on either wing. He's been switching about. That effort, though, too close to the goalkeeper. This was a big moment for Zambia, one of two big moments. Alex Ngonga, who really has caused Nigeria problems.
The chance of the game. It's probably been the most impressive forward, actually, for either side. Nice little flick on as well from Kusamba Lungu. He just muscles Leon Balogun out the way. Really should have fired that one past the goalkeeper.
And then Ngonga again, seemingly with nothing on here, goes for goal, bounces awkwardly for Nzemwo, does well to get across and turn it onto the post.
Yeah, this may have been going wide actually, but skips inside Mikel Lagu, who's already been yellow card. He's got to be careful with how he challenges now. Through the legs, I think, maybe, yeah. And no other thing in his mind but to strike that goal.
Chance for John Obi Mikel, not a renowned goal scorer, of course, for playing in this more advanced role. Took it down well enough and it sat up perfectly, didn't it? In his mind's eye, that nestled into the top corner, but it didn't quite work out like that.
Yeah, just to do that ball, just to sit a little bit more. His body shape actually wasn't in a great position for it. But Nigeria have looked better when they've been stung into action, when Zambia have looked more threatening coming forward. And when the player's broken, Moses is very dangerous. Lovely ball to Igalo. Takes it well actually on his chest and opens his body out. And once again, just not able to wait for the ball to actually sit down that little bit more. Credit actually to the Zambian defence. They scrambled pretty well. That's good cover in the end. Zio Tembo, who's the centre half, who comes right across and forces Igalo to hurry his shot. Catches him on the way through, but no question of a penalty. There was another chance that went begging.
And Simon again involved. His good work by Odion Igalo. What a spectacular finish that would have been from Simon, but just got underneath it.
And he didn't need it, Wayne. Great skill from Igalo. Lovely clip to the far post. You're thinking maybe he could come in and just try and power a header past the goalkeeper. And chest that down. Really, that ball was for John Obi Mikel. Who knows whether he got the shout or not. He could have taken it on his knee and had a much easier chance.
It was a perfect delivery, though, from Igalo. So no goals at half-time. Nigeria 0, Zambia 0. Can Nigeria get the goal they need to qualify for the World Cup? See if they do. It's coming up right after the break.
Oh, there's Wi-Fi if you want.
This car's got Wi-Fi?
Yeah, there's lots.
Password?
Corsa 2017.
It's capital C.
It's capital C.
Onboard Wi-Fi to make your mates look cool. We call that one of life's small victories.
Peace and love. Roosevelt, Forensic Records. God bless us all. And forget, yeah. My aim is not a wealth, no fame. I wish to serve my country with best of my talent, and I pray that everybody will think and walk towards making a better place. May we promote peace and love, justice and unity, agriculture, education. Make we stop all deforestation, pollution, discrimination, tribalism, regionalism, sectionalism, political provocation, and all them bad. I pledge me love and loyalty, I vow for myself and faithfully. I promise for defend them and honor your good name, because no place, no day like home. Sierra Leone, the land where I'm born, the land where I grow, the land where I not go ever forget, yeah. The land where you let me on salon.
They hush, they vex, they swell till them bust. Me na vex, me na push, me no get to you bust. Together with you hot, together with you want, till the bella when they can.
To be assured of a place at Russia 2018. Zambia have been awkward customers. Zambia, the only other side in this group that also contains Cameroon and Algeria that can stop the Super Eagles flying to their 6th World Cup finals appearance. It's a Nigerian throw, which Gile will take. Half chances for both teams, and Gonga in particular, with a couple of good openings for Zambia. Nigeria lost Anazi to injury in the first half, replaced by Nickel Agu, who came on and promptly got himself into the referee's book. But Nigeria have been short so far of the quality that we've seen in their previous 2 matches in this stadium, when they swept 7 goals past Algeria and Cameroon in those 2 matches. Here's a chance maybe for Mikel. It took a deflection. It's a corner for Nigeria. And FM, would you expect to see Nigeria up the tempo second half, or more of the same?
Yes, I would. I'm sure that the coaches impressed on the need to try and get them the extra 2 points on offer here today. Good start, second half.
Low by Moses. Simon.
Talks yesterday in the game between Mali and Ivory Coast about thinking you can limp over the line in qualification. It very rarely happens. It always get too many easy groups. More
free header for Balogun, but it was a difficult one to try and get on target. Yeah, we were talking before kick-off of just how competitive and difficult it is to qualify from the African zone these days. Of course, you imagine that it would be CAF who would benefit greatly from the increase to 48 teams.
Yes, I'm sure that everybody concerned with African football is happy that there will be an extra place at the World Cup. Of course, it means, you know, that there's less likely that, or there'll be one slightly happier big boy, if you like, you would imagine. But obviously, you know, what we've seen, especially with Cup of Nations qualification of the last couple of tournaments, that's not always the case. But still, generally, you know, the favourites tend to make it through to the World Cup.
Simon. Noesha Gillet. There's a poor ball from Simon.
Of course, the next step is to have one or two nations from the continent actually getting out to the group and getting through the round of 16 and going to the quarter-final eventually. You'll see there'll be more and more places up for grabs for African teams. At the moment, I don't think you can ask for more than the quality that they've got right now. There'll be improved performances at the ultimate of tournaments, if you like, first.
Of course, we've had the likes of Senegal, Cameroon, Ghana, who've made it to the quarter-finals. For a Luis Suarez handball, Ghana would have made the semi-finals, wouldn't they, famously?
One kick away.
Here's Ngonga. And Shehu. Ghana, they drew 0-0 with Uganda, which means that if Egypt win at home to already eliminated Congo, then the Pharaohs will be back at the World Cup for the first time since 1990.
Well, that's long overdue, isn't it? It's very disappointing for Ghana. Since that handball that denied them a place in the semi-final. They've actually underachieved a little bit. The Cup of Nations final, the performances at subsequent Nations Cups have not been quite what's expected of them.
Two matches in Group A have just got underway. Libya against the Democratic Republic of Congo, and Guinea against Tunisia. Up to date with any goals that go in those games. Tunisia and DR Congo, the two teams with a chance of qualifying, similar to this group, just 3 points between those two. In goes the ball, headed away. Some action for fight fans tonight. UFC Ferguson against Lee. That is live at 1 AM on BT Sport 2, UFC 216. Zambia making a change. Lungu is the man to make way. Chizamba Lungu. Winston Bewe is the replacement.
Well, if there's a little bit of an injury, because he did quite well in the first after Chisamba Lungu, probably faded towards the end of it, maybe just struggling a little bit, something that we didn't quite pick up.
Hit for Zambia. Malenga. forward towards Ngonga. Balogun not the best clearance, straight to Sakala. And taken away by Shehu. There's Mulenga. Put in from Eshajile. Now Mulenga. Zambia have the firepower when it comes to it to perhaps nick a goal here. Another Zambian throw. Oh, the turn and shot. The angle was really tight though for Mwepu. Ngonga. Balogun takes it away. Moses. It's in from Matonga.
If ever there was a day, Wayne, to actually receive the ball, to actually have a picture in your mind before you get it, play it, don't allow any of these poor bounces in the pitch to destroy your confidence, to get the crowd on your back a little bit. It's not conducive really to running with the ball.
From the close-up pictures here,
yeah,
just how bothery the pitch is.
Not easy actually to get the passing game going either, but the safer option, of course, heading towards goal, yes, to take on a defensive plays if you're an attacker.
Just blocking the progress of Ngonga. Kick floated in. Nigeria get it away through Eshajile.
That was a great ball, wasn't it? Free kick from distance.
Kapumba. Again towards Mwepu. Bodies forward here, Zambia. It's been played in behind. I think it was just tried to help it on to Ngonga from Mwepu. That's where it broke down. Mulenga. And Tonga. It's a foul on John Obi Mikel.
That was a rugby tackle. Probably a good yellow card to take. Mikel was away. And Tonga decided that best course of action was to make sure Nigeria don't punish him on the counter. Yeah, ball slips. Mikel is almost falling into him. He's falling and decides to take the Nigerian captain with him.
Definitely the wrong code, that, wasn't it? Rugby or NFL, it wouldn't have been out of place, would it?
Smart free kick to concede.
Goes the header on. Mawene was struggling for a second, but just stretched and clawed it away.
Well, made more of that, the Kennedy Mawene, than he really ought to have done. Wilfred Ndidi with a nice header, just looping towards that far corner. It's a great leap, isn't it? Mawene doesn't really seem to see that early enough. Would have been a more comfortable save.
Moses with the corner. Ball on as well.
Yeah, graceful. Yeah, his referee was blowing over before contact was made, it seemed. William Trustekong with the high boot.
Trustekong playing in Turkey now for Bursaspor. Quinton Groningen was a youth team player at Tottenham, never made the first team, and another who played his youth international football for another country, played for the Netherlands at under 19 and under 20 level. Gonga. They made the space, and then it was a horrible slice behind. Lost a bit of balance and perhaps took a bobble as well off the surface. Certainly put in a shift and gone.
Yeah, I've been impressed with him. Good turn of pace. Centre half sort of faced too many players like him on the continent so far. He's been able to outmuscle them and outsmart them on occasion.
This is club football in Zambia for Power Dynamos. This performance is one that no doubt will be getting a move to Europe at some point. Victor Moses. Away by Sunzu. Ndidi. Now Mikau. Simon forced backwards to Balogun. Stikong to Shehu. Ndidi. To Moses, not the best, and then his foot was high on Paxson Kapumba.
Over elaborate from Wilfred Ndidi. He should have taken that ball on himself.
Hasn't been able to really stamp his mark on the game yet, Victor Moses. So far is proving to be a frustrating day for Nigeria. On the home side have a free kick.
The big question now, Wayne, is whether Zambia would be happy to rely on the winning of their last game at home to Cameroon, hoping that Nigeria are not able to produce the goods. Or indeed, more to the point, Algeria are able to produce the goods in the final match, get some kind of respectability to their campaign in the end by beating Nigeria.
5-goal turnaround
Absolutely, as well, yeah.
To ask for, isn't it? Realistically, I know as you say stranger things have happened, but realistically they need to nick the win here, don't they, Zambia? Well, when he thought about coming and then changed his mind, Igalo challenging, and now the Zambian goalkeeper has it, launches it immediately long. Looking for the lively Ngonga. Balogun across to win the header.
Well, the answer to the question really should be no, that they should be going for the victory, which means that we should be in for a pretty good last half hour. Zambia pushing forward, Nigeria soaking up the pressure. That's what they feel they need to do, and playing well on the counter-attack.
Close header to Mikau. Shajile.
Getting that message across though at half-time is probably not the wise thing for the coach. Certainly not for going around the Nigeria boss. Thinking about trying to win this game outright for themselves.
And Moses running into that gold wall. It's out for a throw for Nigeria. Just to remind you to tune in next Saturday for BT Sports Score. That's live at 2:30 on BT Sport 1. And then we have Watford against Arsenal for you. Former club, of course, of Oli and Igalo, next Saturday at 5. Available in 4K UHD. And then Premier League tonight, that's at 8. Also in 4K UHD and on BT Sport 1. Inside the last half an hour then. Nigeria 0, Zambia 0. It stays like this. It's as you were at the top of the group. With a game less to play, it would leave Nigeria needing just a point from their final trip to Algeria, or indeed a favour from Cameroon against Zambia.
And imagine Cameroon don't want to do Nigeria any favours. And why should they?
Shajile. Go out there as a professional player, though, you surely put that out of your mind, don't you, and just try and win the game. these final 2 qualifying matches as the first stepping stone towards hosting the Cup of Nations.
A couple of years' time, which will be on us very quickly. And of course, with the disappointments of the performances this Cup, apart from the Nations Cup, of course, let's not forget that they are officially the best team in Africa right now. There's a tournament win, but
it's handball by Mikel, surely.
Tournament football, but that's very quickly forgotten.
It was a surprising win, wasn't it, for Cameroon? There were big players missing who refused to take the call up, and it's beginning to kick off here a bit now. So perhaps we really shouldn't be too surprised on form that they haven't made it to the World Cup, because let's not forget, Cameroon winning the Africa Cup of Nations was definitely unexpected with the squad they sent. And the yellow card is out.
As it was with Nigeria in 2013, nobody really believed that Super Eagles could win that tournament. The referees handled this one pretty well. I don't think it was a tidy enough challenge. It wasn't a tidy challenge at all. And Kennedy Mwene, the Zambia goalkeepers, come rushing out some 30 yards to remonstrate with the referee, and indeed a couple of players. Ball's there to be won, but he's late.
Yeah.
Catches Enoch Mwepu.
That he carried into the challenge wouldn't go down well with the referee. So there's how we are then. Nigeria would have that 3-point lead over Zambia and a +5 better goal difference. So it would need a big turnaround. Remember, Zambia's last match home to Cameroon, who are currently leading against Algeria. And Nigeria would travel to Algeria, who have had a forgettable campaign, to say the least. Look at that Ndidi header that was clawed away by Mwene.
It was a good one, no doubt about that, was it? He had in, I think maybe just going wide of the post difficult. We don't get a camera shot behind the goal, unfortunately. So it just seemed a little bit slow to decide that that was a header worth dealing with, the goalkeeper.
Lavina's first international goal, Leicester City's Wilfred Ndidi. Some £17 million from Genk, Belgian club. Which one? Balogun. Mikel. Mwepu. Slight concerns as a former Super Eagle, 25 minutes to go. Still very much in the balance.
I'm always a little bit concerned until Nigeria actually get to a tournament because you know the level of consistency with some of the smaller nations has improved over the years. Nigeria still there or thereabouts amongst the best couple of teams. We see Alex Iwobi and Arsenal.
Iwobi on for Moses Simon.
Because I see it as minimum requirement for Nigeria to be at all the major tournaments. Cup of Nations, it's very disappointing when we're not there, but the fans tend to forget that pretty quickly as long as World Cup qualification is secured.
Over the top by Ashajile for Gallo to chase, but claimed by Mwene. Probably the biggest shock is Nigeria's failure to qualify for the Under-17 World Cup, a tournament they dominated. From the last 2 events of that, the most successful team at that age group, but haven't made it there this time. A tournament that's just kicked off in India. There's Mulenga. He's fallen kindly for the midfielder. Couldn't take it in his stride though, Mulenga, and Trusticong gets it away. Here's Sun Tzu. 12th cap for Arsenal's Alex Iwobi, the 21-year-old. Here's Iwobi. He represents England at under 16 to under 18 level. Mwepu. Tonga to Silwimba. Sakala. Wimber fires it across. Could have gone anywhere, that. And in the end, it's gone off Troost-Ekong and behind for a corner.
He went to clear that ball away with the wrong foot, the right foot, instead of setting himself. Had a little bit of time to be a little bit more composed and side-footed out maybe, or even look strike through the ball with his left foot. And on this pitch, once again, the bobble deceived him. Comes off his shin on the way to relative safety and a corner kick.
Produce here. All hung up a bit, but the flight of it was misjudged by Bayway. No goals yet, neither of the Group A matches between Libya and Democratic Republic of Congo. Indeed, Guinea and Tunisia. Tunisia are a nation who generally get it right in World Cup qualifying, don't they? They've got a great record of reaching the World Cup finals, Tunisia. Minutes or so ahead, particularly for Zambia, who realistically need to find a goal.
Yes, would love to win, but so that even if they don't lose here, or if they able to get that draw, then they're still in with a chance. Hoping against not quite all hope, but slim hope that Cameroon could. Nigeria, I beg your pardon, could have a resounding victory at home to Nigeria.
Someone gets it away. Zambia have a man down off the field at the moment. Back foot with Mikel.
Ball just wouldn't sit nicely. It's very, very rare to see John Obi Mikel just place a pass like that. Well, some 10 yards away from him to give it away so cheaply. It's a rarity. The pitch is actually not playing, we're not running well at all.
For Zambia, good run, positive run from Bewe. These two nations, remember, Africa Cup of Nations champions Zambia in 2012. A year later it was Nigeria. Long-range effort from the left-back Kapumba. There was a touch on that, it's a corner.
Well, it's quite obviously been a deflection from one of your own teammates. It really worries me when goalkeepers go scrambling across like that, because you get a big palm to it, and very often than not, it doesn't go out for a corner kick or for a goal kick, just bounces back into play, and lo and behold, there were two orange shirts there from Zambia just waiting to pounce on that ball.
Another set piece spells danger for Nigeria. Some of the delivery has been poor, though. And now the counter could be on here. This is Iwobi. Hasn't had too much support. He looked up and there was nobody else in green. But now there is with Victor Moses. And now Igalo. Odion Igalo. I just wanted one touch too many. And the chance was gone. Lovely swift counter, though, from Nigeria.
Good cover. Let's give credit to the Zambian players who got back, didn't give that one up at all. Moses was first on the scene. Igalo absolutely came from nowhere, making a 50-60 yard run. Once again, the stickiness of the pitch is playing havoc with players' control.
It's good play though by Zambia. Balogun with a crucial challenge. It's clipped into the centre. An important header away from Shehu. Still Zambia keeping up the pressure though. Kapumba.
Oh, that's a shame. Huge margin for error, just kicks the ball out of play or passes it out of play. quite get it onto his left foot though, Galo. There's Alex Iwobi not giving that ball up. The bend just keeps it in play. He's onto it. There's Victor Moses. He's closest, and steady pace from Galo. Nice ball from Victor Moses. Yeah, just as he comes back inside. Just a step on, drag back. A bit too heavy.
Chance to hit it first time, or was that asking a lot?
Yes. And even if the ball doesn't bother, when you've had so many passes that have come to you that have just been sitting up a little bit, and then you just a little bit cautious and your mind is not quite fixed to hit that ball first time. And not quite wide enough either for him to really have the angle.
Here's Mikel. Iwobi in. Now Moses. Shehu. Now Moses. He's booked off, but Shehu has it, pulls it back, and it's in! Nigeria get the goal. Alex Iwobi. Well, he's not been on long, but the Arsenal man has picked his moment, and the stadium erupts. It's Nigeria 1, Zambia 0. Oh, what a great moment for Alex Iwobi. Second international goal to go with the one he scored against Zambia in the 2-1 victory last October. He must be sick of the sight of him. But what a big goal that will be for Nigeria, because it puts them now within a whisker of the World Cup finals.
That's a class finish. Such a difficult skill to execute. The ball is coming across. You can very often just hit that beyond the near post. He catches it absolutely perfectly. Straight through the legs maybe of Kennedy Mwene. Yeah, he's got it, comes through about 4 or 5 bodies, can't fault the goalkeeper at all. Super cutback. Abdullah Shehu with a lovely pick out right inside the penalty area, and Iwobi does the rest.
And they're wearing a Chelsea shirt. All smiles after an Iwobi goal. That doesn't happen too often.
I missed that. I'm going to have to see that again. I can't quite believe it.
Wimba. And now they need 2, Zambia. The task has just got a whole lot harder for the Copper Bullets, the Chipolopolo as they're known. Sakala. Well played by Iwobi. He's been really lively since coming on. There's a Galo.
Well, that's what he does well in the Galos. A couple of Nigerian players who got their tails up. Just a minute or two actually before that goal where he kept the ball on the right side, the crowd got involved, a little 1-2s, a few little tricks. Was a great marking actually. Also able to find himself completely free inside the box. That's a gift. And he's a good one-touch finisher. Finish with aplomb.
Wapu. It's out before it got to Malenga by Shehu. Out of the Olympic squad who won the bronze medal, remember, in 2016. Here he is again, did well to dig the cross out from there. And it was just too far ahead of Igalo. The difference Iwobi's made.
A difficult night actually for Moses Simon. He's just injected a little bit more pace, and that's the sign of a real top nation. When you have 2 or 3 real quality players on the bench, you can make a big difference for you. You win very little, in fact next to nothing, with 9 or 10 very good players, and even with 11 you need another 3 or 4 to really keep those regular starters honest.
So Wimba. Balogun. They do get across the line with this scoreline, Nigeria. You have to say it is mightily impressive to qualify with a game to spare in a group containing Zambia, Cameroon and Algeria. would be a fourth win from 5. Sakala is making way for Zambia. Second change by Wedson Nairenda. Lively in the first half, but not quite so many mentions in the second. Justin Shonga comes on for the final 13 minutes. There is how it stands if the score remains the same. A 6-point lead for Nigeria, who would become Africa's first representatives at Russia 2018. The likelihood is they will be joined by Egypt later today. But that's an impressive table, FM, when you look at the opposition.
If it finishes, of course, if this match finishes like that, we'll be as we stand. Yes, I could have seen Nigeria winning the group. Equally, I could have seen Algeria topping the group, or indeed Cameroon. Zambia would have been, the fourth team in that. I expected them to not finish top. Yes, they could have finished second or third, but for Algeria to just have 1 point is extremely surprising.
Algeria, in many ways, one of the nations who really put African football on the map with their performances back in the 1982 World Cup, that famous win against West Germany. Of course, they were robbed in the end, weren't they, by that West Germany-Austria match, the famous game.
The less said about that, the better. They gave Germany a pretty good run for their money in 2014 as well. It was one of the matches of the tournament. The world champions. In fact, they didn't have a tougher test throughout the 4 or 5 weeks in Brazil. It was the game where they were made to sweat, show their champion colours, and came through.
Nigerian change. Aina is on for Eshajile. Look as though he's struggling. An international debut for Aina, the Hull City player. He's currently on loan from Chelsea. Made a couple of appearances in their Premier League title win last season. Not a bad game to make your debut in, is it? The night you qualify for a World Cup.
Remember this, if he was able to help his teammates keep a clean sheet.
Tension has certainly been lifted by that Alex Iwobi goal. Looks like another failed campaign for Zambia, a nation, remember, who 3 times have played in the final of the Africa Cup of Nations, 3 times semi-finalists, but never reached a World Cup. 1970 was the first time they tried. Some Wepu. Wimba. He's done a good job in this campaign, but it does look as though they are going to fall short, Zambia. Fire across, Balogun with the header away.
And nothing like a goal to galvanise a team, and I would expect now that Nigeria defence just have that little bit more urgency and devil about them. They look to have some real pride in keeping a clean sheet and making sure this send-off victory, beginning of the parties and celebrations, really, to look forward to the World Cup next year, ends on a real positive note, and that means not conceding a goal.
Another from Sunzu.
Of course, the fans would love it if they score another 3, and they wouldn't mind if they concede 1 or 2.
Again, hammered away by Balogun. Senegal has just got underway in Group D. What a crucial match that is. Big loss for Burkina Faso at South Africa, 3-1 earlier in the day. The result that has put South Africa back in contention. Just 2 points separate all 4 teams in that group. Win for Senegal away in Cape Verde and send them to the top. Cape Verde, a nation who have dramatically improved in their performances in the last few years. Kong happy to see it out. Under pressure from Ngonga. He certainly hasn't deserved to be on the losing side, although Mr. Kong giving him a piece of his mind after that last challenge.
Well, you want to shepherd the ball out of play, making no attempt at all to play. You can expect to, a little reminder, go forward now and again, defenders to leave it late. I didn't say anything too wrong with that. He's always going to go out. Trusé Kong actually could have, he didn't need to actually look to make contact.
Well, if Zambia do finish second ultimately in this group, it would be some achievement. In some ways, you almost feel as though they deserve some sort of second route via a playoffs like the European nations get.
As you mentioned earlier on, Wayne, it's harsh, isn't it? First past the post, nothing for anybody else.
Offside against Iwobi. Very, very difficult to come through the CAF qualifiers. No second chances.
Oh, it's onside, isn't it? And the officials really shouldn't be getting that one wrong. Nothing to obscure his vision at all.
Out. A little flick in behind. Chance for Moses. Couldn't keep it down though, got right underneath it. Even Shehu forward to join in that last attack for Nigeria. The confidence beginning to flow again now.
That one's a better chance. Once again, Victor Moses just got a little bit of time. Just a little bit anxious to actually get his shot off. Good cross. So he's just been stretched out a little bit more now in the last 10 minutes.
Lunga. And Wefu losing possession. Here's Moses. Aina. Wimba. It's a good cross in. There's an opportunity there for Shonga. Still it's not away. Now Malenga. Too many green shirts back there though, and they clear their lines. And fired back in by Kapumba, who we've already seen a couple of times in this game. Fancies his chances from distance.
Well, he strikes a good ball. I've seen a couple of good free kicks from him so far from distance. Just took a little too long. He was a bit anxious actually with a shot from, that was from downtown. Yeah, with little, well, almost zero backlift.
Well, Zambia came into this in good form, unbeaten in their last 7. They've won their last 3 games, including that win against Algeria, 1-0 in their last game. The last defeat anyway was a 3-1 loss to Zimbabwe on the 9th of July in the Kosovo Cup final, the Southern African Championships, tournament which Zambia have won 4 times. Halligan's header. Kapumba. Balogun. Moses. Miguel is taken down by Sun Tzu. Zambia just making a change. Bunga has made way. Passed by John Chingandu. To tell you about, Tunisia have gone a goal down against Guinea. It's Naby Keita, player of course will be playing for Liverpool in the Premier League next season. He's got the goal. Zambia on the front foot again at the other end. Off target though from Chingandu.
First touch, second one. Over the bar. Just takes it wide, quite to the tune of the game.
The goal from Naby Keita will certainly be music to the ears of DR Congo supporters, remember, who are 3 points behind Tunisia at the start of play. Currently playing Libya, which it is 0-0. With Tunisia behind, if Congo could win that game, they could jump to the top of the group. Just one game to play, and they would be at home to Guinea. Another from Kapumba. Liverpool were desperate to get Naby Keita for this season, weren't they? And even rumours that they could pay some more and sign him in January, whether that happens or not. Red Bull Leipzig.
Yeah, I think a lot may depend on whether they progress in the Champions League. If they don't, they may be happy to cash in. Release him early, who knows? Short of money though, are they? Red Bull Leipzig.
Well, that's the thing, isn't it? Bumba's throw. Final minute. So no Nigeria are going to get the win they needed.
Been workmanlike but professional so far from Nigeria. A minute and less than a minute actually, plus any stoppage time. Getting the victory in such an important game, massive occasion, you know, when you're the best is always a good sign.
Not the swashbuckling style that we saw against Algeria and Cameroon. The win's a win. Here's Mikel. Moses. It on one more, fed back towards Moses, and when he gathers,
he's put in a shift, Victor Moses. So often we take for granted really that the player should be fit enough to run for 90 minutes non-stop, almost off full pelt. So lots of the viewers at home have to realise that if this is a match in West Africa, it might be early evening, still humid, it's hot. Very difficult to maintain that level of performance, and the ball was just a little bit behind him.
The yellow card out here for Chingandu, the substitute. 3 minutes to be added on. And whatever happens in that Cameroon-Algeria game, Zambia would still be second in the group.
That was a meaty challenge. It was a good header actually from William Trustekong. Brave enough. Expected defender to be first to that ball.
Cameroon have scored a second goal against Algeria from Chiju. Pangbop has popped up with the second goal for Cameroon. It does look as though the African champions are going to pick up their first win of the group stages of qualifying. Too little, too late.
Sorry evening for Algeria.
Yeah, I was going to say, it cements what's been an awful campaign for them. It would be their 4th defeat in 5 matches. Flick on by Iwobi. Played in by Kapumba to Mawini. With a block on Igalo from Sunzu. Difficult game really for Igalo. The service hasn't been great. There's Moses though. Igalo still central. Moses is still going. Still has it, Victor Moses. Now Ndidi. And it's well off target.
Never got set, never looked comfortable. And that was the end result.
That's what it means. Just seconds away from the place in the World Cup finals for the 6th time in their history, the Super Eagles.
Yeah, congratulations to Nigeria once again. It's been a great qualifying campaign. They would have expected, they would have believed that the team was good enough to get through. As well for Ndidi's must have been an injury. Yeah, that's probably just strained a thigh. It was a little bit awkward, wasn't it? Super performance over these matches, as you said, Wayne, with one match to spare to top the likes of Algeria and Cameroon. Zambia no pusher at all. Looks like they're going to finish second in the group. It was a great achievement, and they'll look forward, all the players, all the staff, and of course the millions of fans, well over 100 million, to another World Cup extravaganza.
It's always great, the special atmosphere that Nigeria and their supporters bring to any World Cup. And the Super Eagles are flying high. They have qualified for Russia 2018, officially the first African nation to qualify for Russia. It was far from the flowing football that saw them defeat Algeria and Cameroon convincingly here, but Alex Iwobi's goal is enough to send Nigeria to the World Cup. Nigeria 1, Zambia 0. So plenty of sport for you to watch across our channels. Wrexham Eastleigh is on now on BT Sport 1 from the National League. Then we have round 11 Speedway action over on 2. Ferguson against Lee tonight, UFC 216 at 1 AM. And then tennis, the China Open final tomorrow at 9 AM on 2. Saracens Wasps is 2:30, available in 4K UHD on 1 from the Aviva Premiership. Well, this was a chance. Indeed, he's header. Good save by Mawini. He wasn't overly tested.
No, throughout the 90 minutes, actually, didn't have too many things to do. It was a decent save in the end. I thought he was a little bit slow to react. Yeah, but actually moves his feet well, and it's a pretty good save. Towering header from Wilfred Ndidi.
And then the big moment, Iwobi pretty much starting the move. He broke down here, but then Mikel.
Towards making a better players. Make we promise.